all. I hope you all are safe at home. Before going to start the topic, I will discuss with you about the previous session, what we have learned. So in the previous sessions, we have completed what are croplands, what are the different kinds of crops we are having, and what are the different methods of crop production. Under the different methods of crop production, we have discussed about preparation of soil, method of seed selection and sowing, and we have also discussed about the other concepts like the manuring, the weeding, the irrigation, the harvesting, threshing and winnowing and storage. So like that, even though we have also discussed about how can we protect the croplands from pests and diseases. So these are the different topics we have covered till now, and today we are going to discuss about the increase of crop production. How can we increase? How can we increase crop production? Students, why we have to increase crop production? Do you know that? Yes, our population is the highest population, as we have discussed in the first class of crop production. To meet the needs of these people, that means to meet the food, that means to make the food available for the each and every person, we need to increase crop production. That means we have to make the availability of food grains to every person, every citizen of our country. So for that purpose, we have to follow different methods. Even though we follow methods of crop production, in addition to them, we have to follow other techniques for the increase of crop production. What are the other techniques we use? Plant breeding technique. What is plant breeding technique? Plant breeding is nothing but the increase in the production of new young ones. The increase in the production of new young ones. It is a technique. Plant breeding is a technique where we produce more number of new varieties of plants. Here we are discussing about crop production, so new varieties of plants. So new plants are developed, and a technique is available for us, that is hybridization. We have discussed about what is plant breeding. What is plant breeding? Production of new varieties of new plants is nothing but plant breeding. Okay. And what about hybridization? What technique we are using? Hybridization technique. What is this hybridization technique? The hybridization technique is a plant breeding technique. What is hybridization technique? Hybridization is a technique where the plant breeding done by allowing two different plants to crossbreed. So how can we define hybridization? It is a technique where the food variety, that means the crop variety, different crop variety has been developed by crossbreeding. By crossbreeding, we are going to develop a new variety of plant. By taking two different variety of plants which are having different characters, and we crossbreed them. So when we do crossing, the two characters of these two different plants may develop one new variety. So in this manner we can do breeding, and by doing this breeding we can develop new varieties of plants. And we know about the Green Revolution. The Green Revolution occurs in between the years of 1960s and so Green Revolution has occurred between the years 1960s and 1970s to decrease the famine conditions in our country, to increase the food grains. Okay, and here in this technique, hybridization technique, by doing crossbreeding, that means when the two different varieties of plants are crossbreeded, sometimes what happens, self-fertilization of plants may happen. That means the pollen grains of the plants, they may fertilize the stigma of the same plant. Okay, that means the pollen grains of a particular plant, a single plant, may fuse with the stigma of the same plant. So what happens? Only the same variety of new offspring may be developed. The same plant will be, that means the plant which has been developed due to this self-fertilization, may have maybe the same plant. That means the whatever the characters are present in that mother plant, the same characters will be found in the offspring also, because of this self-fertilization. In order to prevent this self-fertilization in this hybridization technique, we are following a method called emasculation. What we are following? Emasculation. What is emasculation? Emasculation is a process to prevent fertilization. That is self-fertilization. To prevent self-fertilization, we are following emasculation. Okay. So how can we do that? We are going to remove the anthers of one of the plants. We are going to remove the anthers of the plant, one of the plant. So we are taking two plants, right? So two plants we are taking, two different variety of plants we are taking, and we want to get the characters of the two different characters of these two plants in one plant. For example, you take one plant is having more yield. That means that this particular single plant gives more yield, and the second plant gives is the one which shows resistance to diseases. That means it may be very that means it may not get any diseases easily. So if you combine these two plants, if you combine the two characters to get into a single plant, we do this hybridization. So that means here what we are going to do, before doing hybridization, we have to do emasculation. What is emasculation? Emasculation is a process where we are going to remove the anthers of one of the plants that are participating in where they are participating in the cross breeding. So emasculation is a process where we are going to remove the anthers of one of the plants which participate in cross breeding, so that as one plant is not having the anthers, so that plant we can call it as emasculated plant. What we call that plant? The emasculated plant, because it does not have any anthers, so it may not secrete any pollen grains. So that's why that plants which are not having the plant variety whose anthers has been removed, that particular plant is called emasculated plant. What we call it as? Emasculated plant. Emasculated plant. Okay. So emasculation is the process where we remove the anthers of one of the plant variety to prevent self-fertilization. In this process, whatever the plant that has been devoid of, that means that is lacking the anthers, we can call that as emasculated plant. That means from that particular plant, we have removed the anthers, so that we are preventing the self-fertilization. Now, after emasculation has done, we allow that emasculated plant and the normal plant to fuse together. So that what happens? Automatically, the anthers of one of the plant will fuse with the anthers of that means the anther means the anthers which secrete pollen grains. So the pollen grains of one of the plant will fuse with the stigma of the another plant, second plant variety. So that what happens? This fusion causes fertilization to form a new zygote. From that new zygote, the embryo has been developed, and thus a new plant variety has been produced. So that in this manner we can develop a new variety of plant. Okay, this is all about the hybridization process. By following this hybridization process, we have increased the production of crops, as well as we have increased the crop yield by crossbreeding different plant varieties to get different characteristics in different plants, to make those plants to increase the crop yield, to develop new plants or new variety of plants that are having the different characteristics, the desirable characteristics what we want in them. So this is all about the hybridization process. The plants which are developed during this hybridization technique, those plant varieties, they are able to absorb, they are having the stronger ability to absorb the fertilizers, as well as they require more water. By taking up more water and utilizing the fertilizers in a proper manner, those plants grow well and they provide us food grains in more quantities. This is the advantage of hybridization technique. In this session, after hybridization, we are learning about nitrogen cycle. What is nitrogen cycle? Why we have to study about this nitrogen cycle? Do you know, children, what the importance of nitrogen? This nitrogen is utilized by almost all living organisms. All living organisms require this nitrogen to carry out their life process. For example, if you take, the nitrogen is required for the production of or for the preparation of proteins in our body, because proteins are made up of amino acids. Proteins are made up of amino acids. Okay, and these amino acids contain amino group. You have studied about this in the previous classes. So amino acids, they are formed with the help of the amino group. So amino group is found in the amino acids, and these amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. They are helpful for the formation of proteins, so that these proteins are synthesized. Thus, we can say that nitrogen is required for protein formation, for the synthesis of proteins. Yes. And next to this nitrogen, we require nitrogen. Next to this proteins, we require nitrogen in nucleic acids. Nucleic acids. So, how these nucleic acids require this nitrogen? Do you know, children, the DNA? Yes, DNA and RNA are the two types of nucleic acid present in our body. And this DNA and RNA, they are made up of nitrogen bases. They are made up of nitrogen bases. The name itself, we can understand that nitrogen bases means they contain nitrogen. These nucleic acids, they are of two types, that is DNA and RNA. And again the DNA, both DNA and RNA, they contain these nitrogen bases. So in that manner, the nitrogen is required for the synthesis of nucleic acids. Not only that, in our body, the energy is produced in the form of ATP. ATP. ATP means adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate is the full form of ATP. So ATP is one of the energy form in our body. So for the formation of ATP also we require this nitrogen. That because adenosine is the nitrogen base. This contains, adenosine is the nitrogen base which contains nitrogen. Okay. That means here nitrogen is required for the synthesis of proteins, for the synthesis of nucleic acids, for the synthesis of ATP, and still more molecules are produced with the help of nitrogen in our body. That means for our life process to continue, we require all these molecules, biomolecules. Okay, so that's why we have to know about the importance of this nitrogen cycle, how the nitrogen cycle will be carried out in the life, in the living organisms, that we have to understand. Do you know, students, nitrogen, how much amount of nitrogen is present in our atmosphere? About 78%. Is this total content of nitrogen is available to us? That means we can take this nitrogen directly like oxygen. Can we breathe the nitrogen? No, we cannot take nitrogen directly, because nitrogen which is present in the atmosphere is in the insoluble form. Insoluble form means it is in the unusable form, unavailable form. Then how can we get this nitrogen? How can we get this nitrogen? Means it has to be converted. That means the nitrogen which is in the insoluble form or the unusable form must be converted into a soluble form. A soluble form, or we can say the usable form. Then only we can obtain this. Not only us human beings, plants also require this nitrogen source. So for both plants and animals, this particular nitrogen source must be available in the nature in soluble form. Then only they can uptake it. Otherwise, the nitrogen source may not be available to the living organisms. So how this conversion occurs? How the insoluble form or the unusable form of nitrogen will be converted into soluble form of nitrogen? That we will discuss. First of all, we have to know the definition of nitrogen cycle. So what is the definition of nitrogen cycle? The cyclical conversion, that means the cyclical events that taken place for the conversion and for the using of by utilization by plants and animals, and again returning of nitrogen to the atmosphere is called nitrogen cycle. The cyclical process of fixing of nitrogen and utilization by plants and animals and returning to the atmosphere and returning of nitrogen to the atmosphere is nothing but nitrogen cycle. The cyclical process of fixing, utilization by plants and animals and returning of nitrogen to the atmosphere is nothing but nitrogen cycle. So how can we define nitrogen cycle? Nitrogen cycle is a cyclical process where the nitrogen is fixed, utilized, it is fixed first and it is utilized by the plants and animals, and then it returns to the again atmosphere. That particular total process we can call it as nitrogen cycle. It is a cyclical process. Once again, when they return to the atmosphere, again the nitrogen will be converted to the usable form, and then it will be utilized by the plants and animals. Again it will return to the atmosphere. Like that, the process goes on in a cyclical manner, in a series, in a cyclical manner. So we can call this conversion of nitrogen from one form to the another form as nitrogen cycle. We have discussed about nitrogen cycle. Then what is nitrogen fixation? What is nitrogen fixation? Nitrogen fixation is a process where the atmospheric nitrogen is converted into usable form or into the soluble form, nothing but nitrates. So here what is nitrogen fixation? The conversion of nitrogen in the atmosphere into the nitrates, into the soluble form of nitrates. So this soluble form of nitrogen, nothing but nitrates, they are utilized by the plants, and this total process of nitrogen to be converted into a soluble form of nitrates is, and which is utilized by the plants, is nothing but nitrogen fixation. So where this nitrogen has been fixed? In the soil. The nitrogen has been fixed into the soil, and from the soil this particular soluble form of nitrogen, nothing but nitrates, are easily uptaken by the plants, and thus the plants will utilize that nitrogen, and further when the plants are eaten by the animals, this nitrogen source will be transferred to the animals. In this manner the nitrogen will be converted from, that means it will be transferred from one organism to the another organism. When these plants and animals, when they die, this particular nitrogen present in the organic matter of the dead plants and animals, it will be decomposed by the microorganisms, and these microorganisms, they decompose the organic matter and release the nitrogen into the atmosphere. This particular process we can call it as nitrogen cycle. And what about nitrogen fixation? The conversion of atmospheric nitrogen into the available form of nitrogen, that is soluble form of nitrogen, nothing but nitrates, which can be easily uptaken by the plants for their utilization. We have to know, that means in depth of the nitrogen cycle. What are we have to know the steps involved in the nitrogen cycle. That means the nitrogen cycle comprises of, that means the nitrogen cycle comprises of various steps. What are they? First one, nitrogen fixation. Second one, nitrogen assimilation. Third one, ammonification. Fourth one, nitrification. And the last one is denitrification. So what are the different steps involved in the nitrogen cycle? Nitrogen cycle involves 5 different steps. What are they? Nitrogen fixation, nitrogen assimilation, ammonification, nitrification and denitrification. Now we will discuss in detail about the each and every step. What is the first step? Nitrogen fixation. What is nitrogen fixation? In nitrogen fixation, the free nitrogen, that means the nitrogen which is present in the atmosphere, is converted into the nitrogen compounds, into the free nitrogen which is present in the atmosphere, that means in the form of gas. The nitrogen in the atmosphere is in the form of gas, but that gaseous material is converted into compound. It is converted into compound molecule. So that is converted into nitrogen compounds, and this conversion is nothing but nitrogen fixation. What is nitrogen fixation? The conversion of free nitrogen gas in the atmosphere into the nitrogen compounds, into the soluble nitrogen compounds. We can call this process as nitrogen fixation. So how the nitrogen fixation occurs? Nitrogen fixation occurs in 2 ways, 2 different ways. What are, how many ways the nitrogen fixation may carry out? It may carry out in 2 different ways. One is atmospheric nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen I am representing with the symbol N2. Nitrogen means N2. Atmospheric nitrogen fixation. And second one, biological nitrogen fixation. First one is atmospheric nitrogen fixation. Second one is biological nitrogen fixation. So these are the 2 ways by which the nitrogen will be fixed into the converted and available to the living organisms for their utilization. We are learning about atmospheric nitrogen fixation. So how the atmospheric nitrogen fixation will be carried out? In atmospheric nitrogen fixation, during rains, the lightning may occur. Due to lightning, what happens? High temperatures are produced in the atmosphere. Due to the high temperatures, the nitrogen and atmosphere which are present in the atmosphere, they combine together to form oxides of nitrogen. So different oxides are formed. Here in the reaction, nitrogen plus oxygen combine to form nitric oxide. This nitric oxide combine with another oxygen molecule to form nitrous oxide. And then the nitrous oxide reacts with water. When it comes in contact with the rainwater in the presence of oxygen, it forms nitric acid. And this nitric acid is not stable. It will dissolve in the, not stable means it again dissolves in the soil. In the soil, if it contains the alkalis, so the alkalis present in the soil like calcium carbonate, it will react with the calcium carbonate to form, that means calcium carbonate is nothing but limestone. When it comes in contact with the nitric acid, comes in contact with the calcium carbonate, in the presence, it will react with it to form calcium nitrates and water and carbon dioxide. This calcium nitrate is in the available form for the plants. So thus these nitrates are uptaken by the plants from the soil, and thus the plants can utilize them for the production of, or for the preparation, or for the synthesis of their biomolecules like proteins and nucleic acids. This is all about the atmospheric nitrogen fixation. We have discussed about atmospheric nitrogen fixation, and now we will discuss about biological nitrogen fixation. So how this biological nitrogen fixation occurs? What is biological nitrogen fixation? Biological nitrogen fixation is a process where the atmospheric nitrogen, that means the free nitrogen gas, present in the atmosphere will be converted into the soluble form of nitrogen compounds called nitrates with the help of living organisms. That means by the involvement of living organisms, if the nitrogen fixation happens, that particular nitrogen fixation process is going to be called as biological nitrogen fixation. That means we call it as biological nitrogen fixation. What is biological nitrogen fixation? The conversion of atmospheric nitrogen into the molecular form, that means into the soluble nitrogen compounds by living organisms is called biological nitrogen fixation. So I will give one example for this biological nitrogen fixation. So best example we have studied, that is leguminous plants. In leguminous plants we have seen the bacterium called rhizobium. In leguminous plants a bacterium is present that is called rhizobium. This rhizobium fixes the atmospheric nitrogen by residing in the leguminous plants. It survives in the root nodules, in the root region. This rhizobium bacterium survives in the root region of the leguminous plants. There, in that roots, it will reside in the nodules. So in the nodules, this rhizobium is going to fix the atmospheric nitrogen. And how this rhizobium is benefited? The rhizobium is benefited from the leguminous plants by getting the shelter and nutrients. So what this rhizobium is going to do? It will supply the nitrogen source to the leguminous plants. In that manner, both they are mutually benefited, and thus the rhizobium can fix the nitrogen with the help of this leguminous plants. That means as it stays inside the leguminous plants and protected, it is able to fix the nitrogen. It is in the protected form. So how this rhizobium is going to fix nitrogen means with the help of a particular enzyme, a special enzyme called nitrogenase enzyme. With the help of the nitrogenase enzyme, this particular rhizobium can fix the atmospheric nitrogen into soluble form of nitrogen called nitrates in the soil. Thus, from the soil, this leguminous plants will uptake the nitrogen source. This is all about the nitrogen fixation. We have learned in nitrogen fixation can be carried out in two different ways. One is the atmospheric nitrogen fixation, and second one is the biological nitrogen fixation.
About
how these leguminous plants play an important role in supplying the nitrogen to the plants for the preparation of proteins. See here, this is a legume plant. In the legume plant, they are having the root nodules. Within the root nodules, the rhizobium bacteria used to survive, and from the plant they will get nutrients through photosynthesis process. And in turn, what this rhizobium are going to do? They will convert the atmospheric nitrogen and in the form of water soluble compounds, nothing but nitrates. So these nitrates are easily absorbed by the plant, and thus the plants may get the nitrogen, and thus they utilize this nitrogen in the preparation of proteins. I hope you understood about this thing, children. So how the plants prepare proteins? With the help of rhizobium bacteria. So the rhizobium bacteria convert the atmospheric nitrogen into this water soluble nitrogen compounds, so that this nitrogen can be utilized for the preparation of proteins by the plants. That means that particular nitrogen source will be fixed in the soil by the rhizobium bacteria. In the next class, we will discuss about what is assimilation, nitrogen assimilation, what is ammonification, what is nitrification, and what is denitrification. Along with that, we are going to learn one more topic with this, so that we can complete the lesson in the next class. Thank you, students. I hope you understood this topic.